This video covers the techniques and procedures that will be used during your UV honeycomb repair patch. The first step in these procedures is to prepare the surface of your call plate. This can be done with razor blades, rags, and acetone. Once the surface is clean, blue release is laid down flush against the surface and any wrinkles are removed. One ply of fiberglass, smaller than your release, is put down next. Your part calls for a piece of fabric 18 inches by 12 inches. Tape should be laid down prior to the resin being added. Measure out the necessary amount of resin for your fiberglass ply. It should be between 27 and 28 grams for a piece of fiberglass 18 inches by 12 inches. The aluminum cover placed over the cup in this demonstration is to prevent UV light from curing the resin prematurely. This is only necessary if a substantial amount of time between when you measure the resin and when it is applied. The entire cup of resin should be poured in the center of the fiberglass. This technique makes it easier to spread throughout the ply. After the resin is added, another piece of release is placed on top of the fiberglass. This will create a clean sandwich which will help during the cutting process. Breather strips are placed in between the tape and the fiberglass. Since your release is larger than your fiberglass, the breather may overlap. A vacuum port is placed in one corner with additional breather underneath. The layup is complete with green bag. The reason for bagging is to maintain the integrity of the fiberglass weave while spreading the resin. The resin is spread with plastic wedges or squeegees. Every inch of the fiberglass should be thoroughly impregnated with resin, and any excess should be pushed to the edges, preferably away from the vacuum port. After you finish spreading the resin, you may remove the vacuum bagging and discard the breather. It is important to mention that when removing the bagging material, do not pull the release away from the fiberglass. This will create problems during the cutting process and subsequently the patch layout. Take the release with the impregnated fiberglass to the cutting table and ask the TA to cut 4 circles, 6 inches, 5.5 inches, 5 inches, and 4.5 inches in diameter. You will also need a circle 6 inches of scrim cloth to put in between your part and the patch. This is done on the cutting table in the same fashion. Your part should be scuffed to allow for an adequate bonding surface. This can be done with Scotch-Brite. It is not necessary to remove any carbon fiber plies off your part. Just remove enough to give the part a dull complexion. Wipe the part down with acetone and remove any dust particles. The layup of the patch will be done directly on the part, but in the video it is done on release. Peel the backing off one side of the 6-inch circle and place it down on the scrim cloth. It should be centered as best as possible. When you are satisfied with the ply positioning, peel off the top layer of release. This should be done with care as to not pull up the fiberglass from the scrim cloth. It is easiest if you pull the release off parallel to the layup itself. Repeat these procedures for the next 3 plies from largest to smallest. Once all the plies are laid up, you can then begin the bagging process. Just like the beginning of the project, the layup will consist of the patch, followed by release, breather, and the vacuum bag. Something to note is that your part is square and will require the vacuum port to be in the corner of your panel, unlike this video which has it jutting out.